Stream doing that, just
That's exactly how you started the stream.
perfect.
It's perfect. That's good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It is November 4th, 2017. Eastern time is 11 minutes after I said we were going to start, which isn't too bad for an Imperium stream, quite honestly. So, welcome to the Imperium Insider, a look inside an empty box. No, you guys didn't find that funny?
Not particularly.
I didn't get it. Way over my head.
No idea what you're talking about, sorry.
Okay.
Are you making fun of Switch? Because if you're making fun of Switch, it was funny.
Okay,
Are we
we'll go
making
with
fun of
that.
Kilroy?
We'll go with that. Switch, we love you. So obviously, if this is your first time tuning into the Imperium Insider, this is where you get a high-level overview of what's going on in Imperium, Imperium's fleet command view of game mechanics, new content delivered by CIG, how it affects the organization, how it affects the gameplay in their eyes, blah, blah, blah. So I am Jun Tao down here on the bottom. I am the guy with the big mouth. As introductions above me, we have Core, the core of existence.
Hello.
Mr. I got to eat really quick, and I screwed him by starting this at 1 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock Eastern. So I apologize for that, but I have shit to do today. So, to Core's, would that be your left? Yes, to Core's left, we have Ostia, the
Hello.
Fleet Commander beer
Yes.
brewing something. I'm not exactly sure what he does. And below Ostia, we have Lakota. Hi, Lakota. Good morning.
Morning.
It's California. It's early in California.
It's only 10 a.m. I was up 2 hours ago. Don't worry about it.
Good. That's good. Did you eat?
No, I'm not Core. I don't need sustenance to live.
You don't need food?
No.
You all look like you need food to me, but that's a completely different story. So we're here today following the CitizenCon 2017, 2947, whatever the fuck year it is. Yeah, and I don't know what we're going to talk about today because we don't do a script.
Nope, I don't think we've ever done a script.
No, and we're not going to
Never
do a
have we
script
ever
because I don't
tried
like
to be
that.
Totally prepared.
I don't like that. It's not fluid. This is supposed to catch you off guard and have Core give me a 37-minute dissertation on his views towards everything that is the world, and then have Ostia sum it all up in 16 seconds.
Oh my god. No.
That's how we do it.
I like to be thorough.
I know you do.
Sorry.
We appreciate that, actually. He's a good
I
guy.
was just thinking too, we talk about all the same shit all day on TeamSpeak, so the poor listeners who are going to call in get to hear us rant over and over again about the same fucking things that we talk about all the time on TeamSpeak. Well, whatever.
Well, I honestly, I think that there's going to be a bunch of people that tune into these episodes and watch them on the follow-up YouTube or video on demand via Twitch that don't hang out with us in TeamSpeak. And if you are an Imperium member and you're not coming into TeamSpeak every once in a while to see what the hell's going on, you know, I don't know what your deal is. You should
Sure.
at least stop by and poke the bear, you know? Look for Core while he's streaming a game and go in his channel and just raise holy hell.
Yeah, tell him he should stream other games.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like streaming Call of Duty right now. It's embarrassing.
Oh
Court.
my God, no.
First of all, I didn't fucking stream Call of Duty.
Don't.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only alls.
All right. Well, so we discussed it for about 30 seconds before we started this stream, and we decided that our topics for today are going to be reactions to CitizenCon 2947 and how the Consolidated Outlands Pioneer affects our organization. All of the I don't even know what you call it, implications of such a ship and that gameplay mechanic for Imperium, organizations in general, the game, Star Citizen, on and on and on. So, Citizen Con, who watched it? Did anybody watch it? Because I know somebody didn't watch it.
What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one guy on this panel literally has no idea what we're talking about.
I know
He read the
everything.
Q&A 5 minutes ago.
What are you? I know all about the Pioneer and all about Citizen Con. It was great. That helmet flip though, right? That was this Citizen Con, right?
It was in there.
During the Citizen Con.
Yes.
During they did like a top
A
10
retrospect or
Citizen
some
Con.
shit, yeah.
That was nice. It was nice to get. To be honest, this was the best Citizen Con by far in a long time. People can disagree about the content, but it was the best put together stream CIG has done ever. Period.
Well, I would assume that has a whole hell of a lot to do with the participation of Intel. I mean, did you see the cameras? Those were not CIG cameras.
No, I believe they had Optave SSD drives in them. Optane.
In the cameras.
In the cameras.
Yeah.
It could have been. So, the question really is then, when do we get Intel to sponsor some Imperium streams and teach us how to do this stuff in a smooth
As soon as
fashion?
we buy enough Optane drives to support their drug addict.
Did anybody buy an Optane drive? I know somebody did.
Kilroy just bought one, and then he said he's got it shipped to the wrong location, and he can't
Shut
contact
up.
the staff to send it to the right place. So.
Oh my
He deserves
gosh.
it, though. If anyone
Wow.
deserves that, it's Kilroy.
So I'm going to try to
That's
pay
perfect.
attention to the chat while we are talking, and see if anybody has anything interesting to say. If you have a comment or a question, you could probably do it just like any. I don't have a bot set up for this channel yet. I'm working on it. I'm working with Mogamus to try to get everything squared away. So maybe we'll have a question bot and all that shit at some point in the future. But I actually have a life outside of this game, believe it or not. So, yeah,
That's
it's a
not
work
a
in
lie.
If we're
progress.
talking about the Raven real quick, I see someone said disappointed to see only 2 months insurance. Just set the record straight. They did only provide 2 months insurance on the AMD Mustangs as well. It seems to be the status quo for the ship. So in the future, keep that in mind.
The $3 Mustangs.
It honestly doesn't make any difference because LTI is worthless anyway. So
Uh-oh.
it's not
to
exactly
everybody.
a hot take at this point in time. So
Well, you know, you are absolutely correct going forward that LTI, they have technically made LTI irrelevant. If you bought ships during the 4-year anniversary, coming up in the 5-year anniversary, it's going to have 5 years insurance. I highly doubt that you're going to have 5 years worth of real life playtime on any singular ship.
And even then, we're probably talking about peanuts when it comes to actually paying insurance on those ships, because base insurance isn't going to cost that much. When we're probably going to be talking about a high cost for insurance, we're talking about stuff that insures cargo, stuff that insures your tier 12 super weapons and stuff like that. The insurance on that's going to kick out of the ass, but none of the ships that currently exist have that stuff on it anyway. Even Javelin Javelin has an LTI hull, but you don't have any guns on it, so it's still bare bones as fuck, even if it gets blown up, and you got to pay for half the cost to have it refitted anyway. So when it comes to LTI, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because most people are going to have their ships modded out the ass within a month anyway, and by that time, you'll pay on your own insurance, because it's only covering the base cost of the model anyway.
I could see it applying to the Javelin or maybe the Idris or any other really super large ship that's going to take a considerable amount of resources to replenish. I could see just the hull insurance, but then you got to start over, like you said. So it's still going to cost you an astronomical fuck ton of credits.
Like I said, it's going to be the mods, the guns, everything else, every aftermarket part, basically, that's going to cost you out of the ass. And to insure that, it's going to cost you out of the ass. But your base model, your base ship, insurance like that isn't going to run very high anyway. At least that's what we were promised. That's
Nah, I could see it going that way, honestly. I know there's a bunch of people on both sides of the LTI fence getting butthurt over this, that, and the other, but it's not going to be a big deal.
To look at LTI is it was a carrot on a stick when CIG had no money and they were doing this promotion to get their game their $2 million that they asked for, and then they got 8, and then they got 24, and then they got 36, and now we're at what, 169, 168? I don't know.
Yeah, 168-ish for 168 million.
So if you would be willing to, if back when it was at $2 million, if you said, would you give up LTI on all your ships if this game was pledged to $170 million? Would you say yes? I'd say yes. I don't know. One sec, my dog is trying to go outside.
Dog
I'm just going to let her
issues.
out the door here.
She's going to pee on your carpet. So, yeah. She wants to go. She wants to go chew on some socks.
She literally steals my socks every morning and brings them downstairs, so I don't have to.
So, poor Lakota, you missed some good technological demonstrations at this event. If you hadn't watched, which I would assume that most of the viewers of this stream watched CitizenCon, because if you're here, you're obviously into the game a little bit. And if you're not into the game, then go over to forums.starcitizenbase.com, set up an account, and we'll talk to you.
But only if you do that.
But only if you do that. Other than that, I'm not addressing you directly. So I'm just joking. Well, maybe I'm just joking. Do I look serious?
You sound serious.
Anyways,
I was looking at Grizz made a comment. Remind members to update their ships on the portal. It's a good place as any to plug our beautiful portal. If you're an Imperium member, or even an SCB member, I think you can go to the portal.starcitizenbase.com. You go to your personal profile. There's a little drop-down menu, and you can see my profile, applications, hangar, academy. If you go to my hangar, you'll find a nice place where you can add, remove, change ships. You can add them in packages too if you have packages that you've altered over time. And you can update which ships you own, and that allows you to, one, have them listed under your profile, so you can share that with the unit that you're in, or just friends that are curious as to what ships you have access to, if you feel like sharing that information. You can also, it also helps us as a fleet know what kind of assets we're dealing with and what we have access to. So that's super nice. Now, if you're worried about privacy, you can choose to make your hangar private, and that way only you can see it, and obviously as the administrators of the portal, we can see it. We can still take note of the fleet strength while you keep it private between yourself and your unit and the org itself, so you won't allow anyone else to see it. So it's a nice little tool that was done up by the tech guys, Tizzy and Kron, and the rest of the tech team. So awesome. Thank you to them. And yeah, make sure you use it and keep it updated.
and with that little tidbit of information there, I'm going to go back to this scene here, which you see the Star Citizen Base Wiki, which is basically the Imperium Wikipedia. It's kept extremely up to date. If you see, it was last modified in September by Rimmer. Thank you, Rimmer, for keeping up on the Imperium Wiki. If you are a member of Imperium or not a member of Imperium and you have questions about the organization in general, there's literally a ridiculous amount of information in there that can keep your brain occupied for a considerable amount of time. So
Look at this production quality, everyone. Look at us. We can even change the screen.
I know, and I can keep audio during a scene change, which is amazing because...
That's fantastic. No one even has to look at our faces anymore.
No, it's crazy. I could do all kinds of stuff. Yes, you can.
Damn, this is fantastic.
Yep.
It'd be cool. Can you pull up the portal and show us your hangar?
In theory, I can pull up the portal, but that's going to take me a little bit of playing around to get that scene set up because we didn't discuss this ahead of time. Obviously, I think we decided yesterday that we were going at 1:00 today. So
yeah, no worries. We'll queue it up for another episode.
I can make it happen. And we can come back to that.
Someone said the Raven hadn't been added to the portal, so I just added it. So we don't have any artwork for it yet, but that should get fixed soon.
See what happens when you ask an Imperium, human resources and technology. They're all over it. All over it. So speaking of which,
right.
Speaking of that, if you find issues with any of our technology, you would want to register on the forums and register for our Discord if you're an Imperium member. Well, even actually, if you're just an SCB member, you can get in there. But if you're an Imperium member, you can tag technology with issues that you find and let us know because it is a big, huge, freaking ridiculous project and it's not possible for them to stay on top of everything 100%. So, yeah. Now, where was I going with that? I don't remember. Oh, technology in the CitizenCon live stream where they were showing how they're going to deal with characters stepping over obstacles, climbing sides of hills and shit like that. Was that impressive to anybody? Because I thought it was pretty freaking cool.
No, I thought it looked good. I mean, the fact that they reworked that system to make it work for Star Citizen, I thought was, pretty phenomenal. And there was recently a quote by, I think it was actually from CD Projekt Red, that which doesn't treat its employees all too well. But besides the point, one of the reasons why they claimed they weren't treating their employees so well was because they felt that with every game, with every iteration of a game, they had to reinvent the wheel when it comes to every single mechanic so that they don't feel bogged down by stuff that they might not be able to do. And I feel that Star Citizen does a lot of the same things when it comes to coming up with room mechanics and floor mechanics and stuff like that. And this was just another example of them taking what exists and then throwing it out the window and then starting from scratch. Because that shows that they're willing to really go the extra mile to try and make it work. And like I said, it's just one of those things that shows the amount of care that they put into their game.
And on the other hand, with that, the other opposing viewpoint of that is that's part of the reason why shit ain't getting done. Or the appearance that shit isn't getting done because you know that people want to play this game now, not in 2 years.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. Someone on the live stream was asked by Ute or whatever his name is, the community manager, was asked, what if there's one thing you could change about this game? And he responded, no, nothing, it's perfect, you guys do what you do. And the only thing that came to my mind was a release date. But other than that, I'm currently still happy with the progress it's making.
I think that guy, didn't he say, I wish I just didn't find out about this game till later, or like, I wish I didn't.
That was a different one.
Yeah, someone said, I wish I didn't keep track of this game so closely. That's about it.
Yeah, the flip side to it is actually, think of like Fallout 4. Kind of came out of nowhere, had a 6-month hype period, and then was released. And there are other games that we can mention that are like that. And because those games come out of nowhere, people get really hyped about them, and, they don't have to spend 5 years bitching about them for the fact that they can't play it yet. It's just a level of frustration. And, yeah, You take what you can get. It's either you don't know it exists, or you're happy that you know it exists and someday it'll be there.
Complicated.
Yeah, that's everyone's relationship status with this game.
Yes.
Star Citizen will have the biggest hype train of any game ever. Ever. And it's gonna be crazy.
It won't meet all expectations.
Absolutely, it cannot. It's literally
But-
impossible for it to do that.
What was that? I just totally lost my train of thought, but there's something Chris Roberts said that I thought was really good. It was something like... I'll have to find it so I don't seem like an idiot.
Jintao posted it in the forums yesterday, I believe. Or I'm kind of guessing what you're thinking here, but he basically said, I'm building, like, my game. I'm not building your game.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Well, the exact pull quote is...
Fidelity.
People backed me to make a game. They didn't back me to make your game.
Yeah.
Which comes across as arrogant to a certain extent.
It's true. It's so true.
But it's true. Absolutely.
From day one, he said, allow me to make the game of my dreams. Not the game of your dreams. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine?
Then there'd
Who would
really
even
be
ever
no
offer
game.
that?
The game would never get finished if that were the case. I mean, Chris Roberts already has, dreams that are up to the fucking ceiling, but if everybody else had a say in, like, well, we kind of do, but if everyone else, if he was building a game that, for all of us, it would just never get done.
The thing is, Chris is smart enough to be open to the community while there's development going on, so they can change things. If, to be honest, Chris is making it one way, and then the community either responds positively or negatively or with indifference, and then things are kind of set. But that is nice that he's willing to. He doesn't have to do that, right? So we have the benefit of that sort of. It's not really modesty, but like his willingness to allow us to influence his game, So we should all be thankful for that. But it's true, you can't please everybody. Look at the Pioneer. Guess what? We can loot and pillage and plunder and destroy your little homes that you drop down. So think about all the people who are out crying over that little bit of details,
So I don't know if this is actually going to work here. I'm going to try something, and I am going to do this because you were asking, so I had to do it. And I am going to close this workspace a little because I think that I can manipulate the scene within XSplit. So this is the Imperium portal.
You're behind a bit. You're showing SCB. There's the portal.
Yep. Well, you're behind a bit because you're not looking at
yeah, you're right.
what I'm on Zoom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if you look at the Zoom, it'll be in time. But for some reason, we have this. I'm interested in this right here. Why is this here? See this?
I can't see your mouse.
Oh, no.
Say
There's a
where
link. There is a link to the Base Radio Shoutcast player with their Twitter, Facebook, and blah, blah, blah. Why is that there?
If
Honestly.
you don't want it there, we can remove it.
I'm not saying that.
There was a
asking a
time when we were partnered with the base, and all this stuff got added on the front page, on the forums, and on the portal. Since then, the relationship might have changed, but we haven't changed the page.
I don't know if I think maybe the minutia of the relationship has changed, but for people who don't really know, the Base Radio was actually pretty much founded by Imperium members, theoretically for SCB members, and then branched out into a wider audience. So thank you, Imperium members, for creating that interesting little place for people to go and talk shit So anyways, in this portal, you were talking about the hangar. If I go to my hangar, you can see.
Look at that, 27 crafts.
Well, I haven't updated it actually, so there's more shit in here than what it shows. And you can make, like Ostia was saying, all of these you can make private, you can make them public. I honestly don't care because people know what I'm doing. So all these ships are theoretically available to Imperium members that are in good standing that show willingness to contribute to the organization. And I think that applies for a lot of Imperium members. We were actually having a discussion in TeamSpeak earlier with Painmeister and a couple other Imperium members that were talking about that, and we're trying to, at least I think the last I heard, we were trying to implement some way that you could request use of a ship somehow, but we have to work out the details in that because that's somebody's ship. So
it's going to take a little bit of doing depending on the mechanics that'll exist, but we're hoping to have a functional org hangar with the ability for people to request and withdraw and partake in ships that aren't theirs. But there will, of course, be caveats to that, so not all of those ships will somehow be insured, and there might be a small fee for taking ships out. So even if they get destroyed, the insurance will cover it. But of course, if you then take the ship and modify it and put your own weapons on it and lose those, that's on you.
I like that. I like that little feature you're able to figure out.
Yeah, I'm actually learning a little because Core told me I had to. He said, you want to be responsible? Good. Be responsible. Don't be a schmuck.
Don't be a schmuck.
That's what he said. So there's an interesting question there. And I can't read the name because the screen text is so small. I think it's Chelsea 1973. So is the Imperium homeworld going to be a ArcCorp 2.0 or more like a Daymar? And this is no secret, right? I mean, location obviously is an OPSEC issue, an exact location, but the overarching plan is not a secret. It's on the Wikipedia. It's all over the forums. So who wants to tackle that and talk about what Imperium's plan is for a quote-unquote home world? And then we'll get into discussing the other section.
I think we kind of need to look at it a little bit farther out. First of all, it might not be like it's possible. It could be. Chances are it won't all be in one place, right? First of all, we need to find a section of space that we like, right? And that will be done as we approach beta or wherever, whenever it's time to start looking for a base. We'll start looking, trying to find places with the resources that are required to run an org of the size. And once we find an appropriate location in space, we'll start looking at where we could potentially set down. If in one spot or multiple spots, chances are it won't be one spot because you don't really put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Day one is one thing, right? Like, we're talking day one, we're all probably rushing a point, trying to get somewhere and get our base on the ground, just like every other large org out there. But it'll be an absolute gong show. But long term, it's not going to be all in one spot. Locations.
So
yeah, too early to say, but.
So basically, what it comes down to is we will carve out our own little piece of space for as far as the mechanics of Star Citizen will allow us. We should have plenty of org hangars and little bases all over the place in already established bases and planets and stuff like that. But as for a real place that we're picking as our base of operations, things like this will become more. We'll know more about that once we're actually entering beta, because by the time the reset for release happens and it will eventually. By then, we hope to have all these things sorted out, and we'll make sure that over the course of, I would assume it's going to be a very long fucking beta anyway. But over the course of the beta, all of those things will be figured out. We have a few ideas, but it all comes down to whether or not Star Citizen's mechanics will allow us to do those things, and even if they don't allow us to do those things, what they will allow us to do. I mean, worst comes to worst, we stake 1 billion fucking claims on one planet and call it ours, but that doesn't fucking do anything.
I mean, there's also no information about staking claims outside of UEE space. And that's another thing for anyone who's interested. We won't be setting up base in UEE space. We may have bases in UEE space, but our home base will not be in UEE space for obvious reasons.
We'll very likely have org hangars in UEE space, because that just makes sense to have org hangars in UEE space.
So, we don't really know too much about land claim. The Pioneer did talk about buying land, essentially, through certificates and whatnot, and the UEE, but it doesn't really help large orgs yet, because they haven't come out and said specifically there is no, you can drop down wherever you want. They haven't said anything like that, so it's still to be determined if we're just going to drop down wherever. And for example, in UEE space, they talked about in the latest Q&A, a patch of land, roughly 1 pixel of the map, somewhere between 4x4 and 8x8 kilometers. So that's not actually very far, if you think that you could probably travel that in a matter of seconds in a ship. So, but if you're not in UEE space and you don't have to purchase a land claim, does that mean you can just plop down right next to someone else's base, Possibly, if it's possible. If they allow you to land and produce a base, it could take some time. So if they don't blow you away while you're doing that, then maybe you can. But we're not really sure yet, so I need a little bit more detail on that.
Just a comment on the posts on the forum. Yeah, of course there have been a couple of good posts about it, but the problem is there's still theory crafting at this point. We'd like to be able to say, this is going to be our base, and this is going to be our piece of space, and this is how we're going to do everything that we need to do to make it viable and sovereign. But we don't know the mechanics at this point. Just trust us that is something that we're aiming for, and we will have the information by the time that those mechanics are available.
Somebody just shut that conversation right down right there. No theory crafting. You're no fun.
You can theory craft. No, you can theory craft. You can theory craft for hours.
That's all we got for like the next 2 fucking years is theory crafting.
It's the reason why we can't give you a direct answer. It's the reason why we can't go, we're gonna sit on that planet and we're gonna do that. And then, 2 months down the line, or maybe 10 minutes later, someone else comments, but though you can't do that, those mechanics don't exist. And then, oh well, shit, we'll pick a different planet then. And then, 10 hours later, we still won't have picked a planet because we don't know how the mechanics are going to work.
Well, let's go back really quick. When I first brought this topic up, is in Imperium's overarching plan. Did we didn't really get too
arcing.
No, arching's right. Just like Rouster.
Yeah, Rouster.
Really?
And if you really need to get on the portal and sign up for our Rouster.
Thank you.
Or our Rooster.
Both
or
works.
Our Toaster.
Christ.
Or something. It's there. So when I was reading this stuff way back in the day, before I even joined Imperium, which has been, I don't even know, like almost 4 years ago now. Yeah. That was one of the things that I thought was really cool about this org was we're going to go out where it's not safe. We're going to try to find a place that is not safe.
Correct. In terms of Eve, it's called nullsec.
It'll be called nullsec here.
In that case, it's nullsec.
Yeah, because that's what everybody relates it to. Everybody relates this game's mechanics to Eve. So I thought that was really... what the hell does that say?
Fuck 'em boys.
Fuck 'em boys, kill 'em all.
Signs up for a roaster.
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 A roast,
I don't know how to
rouster.
speak.
That says
That-
roaster.
It does say roaster.
That's the correct pronunciation
Of rooster?
of roster.
Of roaster.
It's rouster.
You are cancer.
Thank you.
All I know is that they're not gonna just turn around and release a game and be like, "Oh yeah, and in this update, there's like 100 more systems to sit around in." Like the chances of actually releasing this game publicly, there's no way they're gonna have 100 planets to the detail that you see them in now. So hopefully that they're a lot easier to create than, for example, like ArcCorp, and they can get that process down. But creating 100 systems on release is unlikely, so we could be looking at an actual release maybe around 50 or so. It could be, it's just total speculation, but we may have a lot less choices. It could all be within UEE space, potentially, Who really knows?
Well, if you were paying
But that's-
attention to the CIG stream, right, when he did his keynote presentation, he turned from ArcCorp, left the atmosphere, looked up at the sky, and there was a glowing red celestial object in the distance of space. And Chris Roberts specifically said that is the Pyro system, and we will be going there next. As far as I'm aware, Pyro is not
It's
UE
a Vandal
controlled.
space. Yeah. Well, I mean, they need Vandal space for the story, so makes sense that Pyro space is a thing.
It
But
would also make sense that it
what they're
already
setting up in
exists.
Pyro. If you have Wandering Vandal, I mean, it's one thing to have PvP players wanting to attack your base, but when you have Vandal who literally are just NPCs, don't care if they live or die, suiciding your base nonstop, it can become an issue.
Well, I don't think we'll be ultimately restricted to just planets. Though. I mean, they did say they were open to the idea of doing, base building on asteroids and stuff like that. But
Well,
they didn't
yeah, in
confirm
ways
it.
you can have flotillas, all kinds of like space bases in that sense as well, right? Like,
Didn't they make a comment about that little space base when they left ArcCorp? Saying that they just whipped that together so the possibility of space bases exists. They just haven't put enough time into it to make it a reality.
Yeah, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
be something the Pioneer is able to do because that's
No.
specifically for terrestrial building and stuff like that.
Because that's how it sets up, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, and I remember specifically somebody linked a conversation. I think it might have been Matt Sherman or somebody of that stature in CIG that said the possibility for ships that build space stations that are going to be player accessible exists. It isn't something that they have built yet, but they're considering that possibility. So, and the fact that they're building all of these things in a modular fashion as well, it could be a deal. Maybe they'll go back to the original Crucible design where it was supposed to be a fucking floating scaffolding, repair scaffolding, and do something along those lines where everybody's got to bring their space-based building ship and link them all together or some crazy shit. I don't know. Think big, because Chris Roberts thinks big. Apparently, he's not holding back.
Yeah. There was one thing that concerned me a tiny bit, and that was the amount of time it took for him to quantum jump from ArcCorp to... I forgot where he went.
8 minutes
the next planet over.
to Hurston.
8 minutes.
8 minutes to Hurston. From one planet to another planet in the same system. Eight
Ooh, this is
fucking
good.
minutes.
I want to talk about this. Go ahead, Gokor. I know you were gonna say you were concerned about it, but
I was concerned about it in the sense that if that's going to take 8 minutes, how fucking long is it going to be to jump systems and things like
An
that?
hour.
But the problem with if 8 minutes, and then Chris Robert immediately says, we're not going to allow you to jump this far, and you're going to be interrupted. So that all will play into it as well, meaning that 8 minutes is the shortest possible time that you could probably get there, in Chris Roberts' mind. The problem that exists immediately is one of urgency and supply, because it means that if you're not already in a space with other with friendlies and you get attacked, it's going to be at least 8, let's say 12 minutes before backup can even get there and help you, which poses an interesting issue from a risk management point of view.
It poses an interesting situation for everyone involved. I've seen over the past years, I've seen so many people say, and I'm assuming mostly the people who are watching this are Imperium members, so you know what an Imperium unit is. People say, "Oh yeah, our unit, we're going to operate in like the fringe space. We're going to be self-sufficient exploration group. We're going to go so far." Well, you can, and there will be exploration groups that can go very far. But how far do you really want to go, and how far is necessary to go? If it takes the fleet like 6 hours to get somewhere, we're not going to ever go out there. It's just an informational endeavor, right? To explore what's out there, right? And it's not even real exploration. It's a video game. You know what's out there. You're just looking for jump points. You're looking for potential, caches or valuables out there. And who knows? You could be really good about introducing, special secret shit into the game. Doesn't whatever. But the point is, people aren't going to be able to operate autonomously and have it work. Like if I'm not talking about exploration groups of players right now, but if you think you're going to set up a base, like units can set up a little base on planets, that's cool, whatever. But the farther away you are, the more useless you become to Imperium and vice versa. How can we help units that, end up outposted on a planet that's like 4 hours away? Well, we're not going to, because it's insanity. Not only does it cause us to become less protected and more vulnerable, but it wastes resources when people, defiantly go out of their way to set up super far away. So there will be some sort of expectation when we learn more about how far we can go, what is feasible in terms of how far we can spread out, and that's completely based on membership. Like the bigger we are, the more people that are online at a time, the larger we can spread out and sustain our, whatever our base level of defense or self, security. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I consider any unit leaders right now to consider where they are setting up, the same way that we would, which is we don't know where we're setting up yet. So everyone needs to just chill out and relax, and there's not much point in discussing exactly where. If you like theory crafting, there's really good episodes they put out every week about different space or star systems, and you can kind of maybe get a good idea of what might sound good, but in reality, it's based on resources, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the system has this cool vandal wreck on it or whatever, doesn't matter. We need resources, and we need a whole bunch of basic needs for any org, right? And so that's going to be a huge determining factor for where we set up. So it's really too early to say, but in terms of how far we spread out, that's a big part of it. How long it takes to get different places, and I don't know. Maybe they'll adjust it, but maybe they'll make it longer, right? Be careful what you ask for.
Absolutely. It plays into multiple sides of the gameplay, though. If you're set up on a base and you see a random scout that you don't know, you have time now. You have time to plan and prepare. Because if somebody's out scouting to say, hey, I want to find somebody to attack, or I want to find somebody's shit to pilfer, whatever, that gives you time, because it's going to take time for people to get to where you're at. It's also going to take time for help to get to you. So that's going to be like Cora was saying, risk management, time management, all that shit is going to play a huge part if these traversals are going to take ridiculous amounts of time. If it's 8 minutes to travel from one planet to another, and it's 45 minutes to travel across a system and quantum to get from one system to another system that's adjacent to it, Has to be well over an hour's worth of just fucking flying. I don't see how that's going to be engaging gameplay for them to keep.
It's like Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, that's going to pose another issue, because if you're trying to fly from one side of UE to the other side of the UE and you're going to lose a day doing that,
right,
fucking everyone will revolt. So there has to be something more to it. Like, I get 8 minutes, like jumping from one end of the system to another end of the system. But then if you're doing that from gate to gate or wormhole to wormhole, I forgot what they're called now.
Jump points.
Jump points. It's been too fucking long. The jump point has to be more instant, because if that's gonna take 40 minutes, then that's it. That's done. You log on for like 10 minutes to play the fucking game. You're there for an hour traveling to another system, and you log off without having done anything. That's not fun. No one's going to play that.
No, I absolutely agree.
Standalone.
You know, they're going to need to strike a balance there, because you don't want to get instantly from one planet to another planet. You obviously want something to go on there, but you don't want it to take 2 hours of just travel time, with the possibility, like you said, of being pulled out of your quantum to have to fight off some freaking AI pirates or some bullshit really quick, and then move on with your day, and a 2-hour trip ends up being a 4-hour trip. Nobody's going to explore.
A half-hour mission cannot be 12 minutes of fucking flying there, 3 minutes of fucking doing something, and then another 12 minutes of fucking flying back. That can't be a fucking mission.
Man, what are people who play Star Citizen going to think when they get to real space? Like 55 million years before you reach the next system.
Yeah, but you'd be in like some sort of cryo sleep. Yeah, exactly. And you wouldn't realize the time that passed. So, and by the time you got there, your original home planet would be completely destroyed, so it wouldn't make a fucking difference anyway, right?
Yeah, well, the premise of Quantum is that you're going much farther in probably a similar amount of time, and if they make it, like, there's things we know about Quantum. Or, sorry, jump points. One, that it's not going to be like Quantum, where you can effectively get up out of your ship and walk around your ship. You literally have to have someone in the pilot seat flying and going through these little cavities that open up in fucking space-time or whatever the hell it is. It was a really cool GIF when they showed it off like 3 years ago, but you know what that means. I mean, it's all been fucked.
It's all different.
The whole team has been fired who did that, and they've all been replaced with, you know, millennials who will remake it in our image. So it is what it is.
Did you just say millennials?
Thanks. Yeah. Slowly taking over, I guess.
So
shit.
so we'll see what happens. But essentially, it's supposed to be skill-based travel through a wormhole. It's also based on the size of your ship, because if you physically can't fit through this little, you know, hole in space-time or whatever the fuck it's gonna be called in war,
force it through.
Yeah, there's no forcing it here, so you'll just die.
Might lose parts of your ship. No one said anything about dying instantly.
Yeah, maybe you'll lose parts of your ship. Maybe your ship will blow up and you'll die. Maybe. Who knows? But right now you can't crash into a pebble or your ship will explode. So, I don't know. It's not good.
No pebbles and jump points. You heard it here first.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully not. But yeah, based on how... Yeah. Anyway, so there's a few things. Size of your ship, you have to maneuver through them, and you're going way, way farther than you are in Quantum. I don't know how much time it's going to take, but I assume that if it's skill-based, they're not going to make you sit there and fucking, you know, go through this maze and be, like, on high alert for, like, more than 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, but here's another problem. So say you jump through to get to the other side because you're trying to set up a new base there, and you forget your fucking wrench. You gotta jump back.
You just buy a new wrench.
And then you gotta jump back again. See, that's kind of my problem with it. Like, I get the Quantum being 8 minutes, and I understand that you want to make jump points a skill-based thing, but at the same time, it all just becomes one giant time-sucking hassle that detracts from the actual, you know, playing of the rest of the game.
I kind of disagree, because I want the world to feel big. I want it to have repercussions. If you do, yes, so what? If you leave and you forget all your shit behind you, you're fucking stupid. It's like if you go to work and you forget your computer or your ID badge or your wallet or your tools or whatever, it fucks your day up. And it should. Because that's fair. That's what happens. So, I mean, I want people in this game to feel some responsibility when they play it because it brings...
But my point isn't that it isn't fun the first time. My point is that you do it 3 times and it becomes a drag. That's just plain and simple. So if they're going to do it in the matter of, look, you've done this jump with this ship before, you've proved that you can do it, so now you don't have to actively fucking do something for it, that takes away the fact that it's a hassle.
Well,
That'd
that's
be
a
kinda
yes and a
nice.
no, though. That is absolutely a yes and a no, because you're going to have ships like the Carrack that can map a jump point and give you the jump point data, so you can just use your IFCS and say auto jump and not deal with it. And then
That'd be kinda nice.
they've said several times that jump points will collapse and reopen and be different
Yeah.
to give
And you'll
people
have to keep
a
getting the
job.
data,
Sure.
Exactly. Because you need somebody to be able to do that. So it creates gameplay that sometimes is going to be detrimental to somebody else's gameplay.
Sure, no, and I don't disagree. I mean, that's exactly the sort of stuff that should happen. It's just right now when you're looking at it from a non-mechanic point of view, because we don't have the mechanics yet, you're basically, well, to me, a lot of the things start to become a hassle. But I'm the kind of gamer that, whilst I love the realism and I love going through everything for the first time, by the 8th time I tried to get in my Hornet and I had to wait for the fucking ladder to come down, I was like, this fucking thing's a piece of garbage. That's just me.
So you heard it here first. Core is set to ask for a refund.
I have
Oh.
never refunded anything of Star Citizen so far.
I'll take your ships, Core. I don't have
Right.
I don't have a lot. You can pass them down to me.
Yeah, feel free to pay for it, you bum.
What?
Lakota, give us your thoughts on Citizen Con.
I didn't watch the Citizen Con stream, so I couldn't possibly give you my thoughts. But everything I've heard about it, it sounds like it was good. Intel was there apparently, so it must have been fucking amazing.
Wow.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Wow.
The Only and I did an entire 10-hour stream on the base radio that simulcast and commentated on the
That was
fucking
my idea.
entirety of the whole thing. And thank you. I don't know where you were. You never came into the channel to say hi.
It's
Oh,
sorry.
It's that. Oof.
But-
I was, because it was such a long event, I basically spent half of it just listening to it whilst I was doing other shit all day because I still had to work.
Yep, and I sat in this chair right here forever, my wife said. You were there forever, which is true. It felt like forever. But there was some good takeaways from it, you know. The art design portion of it was cool, how they show how they do lighting and stuff to make it look as realistic as they do. I don't know, are they taking this shit too far?
Nah.
Nah.
Well, there's only so many people that are working on the important, crucial stuff right now. So, I mean, if you got guys sitting around, like art guys or whatever, might as well make use of them. I mean,
They have
Think
like
about-
480 some employees right now. What
No,
are they
no,
all
but think
doing?
of it like this. Think of it like this. You can't have 300 people work on the same fucking thing and hope that it goes faster. There's a point of where efficiency starts to go out the door in a crazy way. You can have a team of 30 people, 60 people working on something and probably achieve what a team of 2 people can do in a couple of months, right? That's the idea. But there's a point where where you have 60 employees versus 300 employees and they're only speeding it up by 2 weeks. Right? So that's the point. They have enough people working on the crucial systems as is, but they also have enough employees to worry about all the stuff that they really want to care about, yet, we probably don't care that much about. I mean, in the end, we'll be very appreciative of the fact that, looking at Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5 or something, that the fucking cars are hyper-realistic and have horns and open trunks and shit. Shit that we didn't think about yet. And we'll be really appreciative of Star Citizen when it comes out. But when we talk about crucial systems, we're talking about networking, we're talking about... For fuck's sake.
Go on.
Alright, yeah, no. I just... bunch of fucking messages that kept popping off in my ear.
I didn't hear a thing.
We'll be really appreciative of the fact that they actually did take the time to make it look good, to work on these systems. We currently only care about a couple of things, like, can we play the game? How is the flight model going to improve from this point forward? Will physics work better? You know, the stuff we deem crucial. But it's all the other stuff that's going to really make the world feel more alive. It's just not important to us right now.
Oh, man, that's good stuff. So, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take 5.
All right.
You only need 5 minutes?
I only need like 2 minutes.
You only need...
The pressure right now is Vesuvius.
If you saw our Discord, you would laugh your ass off. So, all right, I'm going to mute the team speak, and then I'm going to switch the scenes, and I'm going to play you guys a little bit of shiny shit, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Stars. They've become such a familiar backdrop of our day-to-day life that it's easy to forget what they mean. That one. That little dot right there. That's Bremen. And this one over here? That's Saul. Think about that. Just a handful of these dots represents the breadth of human expansion. Another handful, and you've got Banu, Jean, even Vandul systems. That's everything we've ever known. Every piece of art, every life, ever, right there. In 2 handfuls of dots. Now that means there's so much more to find. Behind every one of those points of light is a story waiting to be discovered. Now in our distant past, it was the province of governments to explore and understand space. The simple launch took resources and money beyond the capacity of even the largest companies. But then RSI introduced the Zeus, and suddenly regular people were able to explore our solar system, allowing an unprecedented amount of knowledge to be discovered. When Nick Croshaw discovered the first jump point, the modified scanner array that allowed him to search for jump points were far too expensive for the civilian market. But once that technology was refined and open to the public, what happened? That's right, an era of expansion that led us from this to this. And that's how it's always been. If you look at all the great eras of human history, whenever innovation has put technology in the hands of the people, it has heralded sweeping discoveries. Because power in the hands of many will always exceed the power of few. So while we can now discover new jump points and systems, there's still one hurdle that remains. That's what to do once you discover a new planet. Because right now, only the largest corporations can terraform and establish settlements. Easy. We haven't simplified terraforming yet. No, I'm here to announce something equally exciting. Albert Einstein, the man who redefined human understanding of the universe, he once said, The person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The person who walks alone is likely to find himself in places no one has ever seen before. An insightful sentiment meant to inspire thinkers and creators to push the boundaries of their understanding. It was, after all, said 1,000 years ago, before humanity had left our homeworld. So clearly he was speaking metaphorically. Today, as I just showed you, the unknown is out there, waiting to be discovered. For those that are looking for those places that no one has seen before, they are faced with a daunting challenge. What do you do when you get there? Up until now, it's been the province of governments and corporations to pave the way for sustained habitation. The power has been in the hands of the few. What if I offered you the ability to build your own settlement? To bring civilization to the most untamed of frontiers? A colony ship in the truest sense of the word. And I'm not talking about just transporting people, no. I'm talking about an all-in-one solution designed to build modular structures based on your needs. Capable of building a farm or a habitat, a trading post or a mining operation. I mean, that'd be crazy, right? Allow me to introduce the Pioneer. With that, let the new age of colonization begin.
It's Maverick. Wow.
If he lived in a dark basement.
He does. This is after he had his bout with alcohol and drugs. He's court-martialed.
This is 20 years after the movie, and he just lost all the money. Just nothing left. Let himself go a little bit.
Yeah. Shit.
Are you making fun of me?
Gruesome shit on his
not
chin.
at all. So if you see if you see Ostia like really intense there, it's because for some reason he's feeling extremely generous today and he wants to give some lucky listeners some free shit. And he's trying to figure out how to do it. Because like I said before, when we started this stream, I have the technology working on my channel for Ankbot to do all kinds of really interesting shit, but I just never set it up for this channel because I want it to be better than what I have now because I'm a noob and I don't stream and blah blah blah. So they're forcing me to do this, by the way. So please send help because I'm a captive in the Imperium.
Not too quickly because he still needs to do some work.
Yes. So anyways, somebody said, oh, it was Wee Hamster said, that ship is going to be very expensive to run. You think?
The Pioneer?
Yeah. But think
Probably.
of all that. Yeah, but think of all the interesting gameplay that comes along with that, just that one damn ship. If you read the Q&A, it said there was a question about will it utilize resources from ships like the Orion, etc.? And the answer was yes. So what do you got to do in order to build a little outpost? Or let alone an entire base of outposts for your org? You got to have people out there mining and bringing in raw materials and dropping them off and people manning these stations that process the raw materials and turn them into components, to turn them into modules, to turn them into an outpost, to place it on the frickin' planet and rinse and repeat. Pretty much. Nobody cares. I'm the only one that cares.
Sorry.
I find it very exciting. The Pioneer has the potential to start wars if it ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Absolutely, Tom. The question is, does Imperium want to fight or does Imperium want to hide? Remember back in the day when that one douche came into the Imperium forums and called us a bunch of Care Bears and shit?
Which guy was that?
Which guy?
You don't remember that? Oh, it was some goon shit that was going on like 2 or 3 years ago.
It's been a few people who've done that.
That's funny.
Normally, it's just to get us talking about it.
Hey, it's Space Moose. Hey, Moose. And yes, Imperium wants to fight. Oh, and by the way, I was talking with XLB earlier today, and XLB may be doing some sort of tutorial series on this channel on how to actually fight. And he's pretty damn near one of the best fighter pilots, if not the best fighter pilot in Star Citizen at this point in time. So if you really want to learn how to fight, go over to the Star Citizen base forums and ping XLB's ass off and tell him, please teach me how to fly. I spent a couple hours with him and it was huge. He's really smart when it comes to that shit.
Rigged.
Yeah, hashtag rigged. Okay, here we go.
Okay. You got a dock or some shit figured out?
No, I actually figured it out with a plugin through Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Write Imperium in the chat.
With
exclamation
a hashtag
point or anything?
Or just Imperium?
Literally just Imperium.
That's terrible.
All
Yeah.
lowercase? Does it matter the
Let me see. I'll sort this out. Hang on. I'll do exclamation mark Imperium.
Yeah, that's always a good bet. All lowercase, exclamation point, Imperium.
He hasn't activated it yet, I don't think.
No, he's working on it.
God. Work
Everyone's
faster!
like, quick, do it now.
The poor
Before
chat,
the bot's
you're
online.
gonna force them to do this shit like 3 times.
Whoever wins, though, just it's okay. It was rigged in the first place.
Huh. This is not working.
That's that's a fucking surprise.
That's how rigged it is. It's not even working.
It's not working. He's just gonna make it up. He's just gonna pick a name out of the people who typed exclamation point Imperium.
Everyone type that. I'll close my eyes, point my fingers. That guy wins!
Yeah, exactly. Or we can vote on it.
This isn't a democracy. What kind of fucking shit? What?
I am, and Core is broadcasting live from the UEE Senate, so I don't know what fucking where
We're
you're
gonna need
living.
at least 600
What made you think the UEE was a fucking democracy? Jesus.
Well, this is true. It's not, but
kind of is.
well, it's the Senate that's going to be taken over by someone of the stature of Palpatine or something like that. There'll be some catastrophic event that happens in Star Citizen that they appoint another what did they call that guy? The Imperator? Yeah.
Dominus Rectus.
Ostia.
That's from yesterday, isn't it? I remember that phrase.
Eden Star called us assholes. I don't appreciate that, Eden Star. That hurts my feelings.
The Eden Star should get back to the kitchen.
Oh shit.
This is why I prefer Kitten Nova over Eden Star, because she's so mean to me.
Because Kitten Nova's mean to you or Eden Star's
I was
mean
about to say,
Eden Star is
you very poorly punctuated that sentence.
because Eden Star is mean to me.
I've been training
Doesn't
her.
love me the same way.
Dude, I've totally been training her on how to deal with all you fuckbags. So if you think you're going to pull some shit on that girl, she's going to let you have it.
She'll just shotgun monkey me in Star Marine.
Mm-hmm. And in real life.
I hope so.
Well, you know, I took her shooting, right? When I was in Jersey. No, nobody knows. We know.
You home yet?
Yeah, I'm at home. Yep, 30 days in New Jersey is more than enough. I will never go back to that state for the rest of my life. Never, ever going back. So.
I think your problem is, Ostia, that there is no bot
Just do
in this
that.
channel.
You just do that. It should work. Yeah, it's working now. Just type Imperium capital I. That's it. There we go.
And
It's
what
filling
can
up.
they win today, Johnny?
They
A
will
new
win.
car!
They will win a new car. Yeah, cars for everyone actually.
Yeah, you get a car, and you get a car, and
Is
you
it
get
a-
a
But don't
car,
Forget,
and you get a
also have
car.
to pay tax on that car before
Yes.
you can take it as Jared.
Now you can take the value of all those cars, multiply them by 0, and add 10, and that is the value of the gift card I'll be giving away today. Yes,
That's easy math right there.
$10 gift card.
Mm-hmm. That's good. We hamster
Now,
needs a car.
typing Imperium is a lot to ask.
Your
And I
watch did
understand
what?
that, so I'd like to apologize to everyone whose fingers may become sore or irritated during this process.
I'm sure they don't
And
mind.
it looks like your chance to win is like 1 in 10 at the moment, so that's good. It's nice to see that we have 10 people paying attention. Can
you
really
enter-
appreciate that.
Can you enter more than once?
No, you cannot. And if you try, you will be removed.
Whoa!
Well, I-
Giveaway.
Well, I'm not gonna
I'm
enter.
just kidding.
So
But I've already turned off like mods, and no one can win this unless you're just tuning in.
Yeah.
Okay, so Core is gonna have a chance to win because he's not listed as a fucking thing.
Don't worry, I can just remove him from the list.
I wouldn't have accepted it if I had one either way.
But we'll let it go. We'll let it go a little bit longer until we close out, and we'll just give it away at the end. It's not a big deal.
I'd just give it to Zeus because he's awesome.
Zeus is awesome. He's the Mount Vesuvius of awesomeness.
It's a true story.
As in, he's about to explode.
Of awesome.
Yep.
Is he even watching? I don't think he's watching.
No, he's not watching.
Oh well, it's okay.
He's. I'm sure he's got the kids right now.
So,
Nanny Zeus.
so are we? What are we talking about now? I've been paying attention. I've been trying to set up this.
We've been talking
Sleeping
about
here.
this giveaway.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
like
but it's
like a big deal.
all right. Well,
Well, is there still stuff that we have to discuss, or stuff that people want us to discuss? Otherwise,
yeah, we could do like a few minutes of Q&A maybe.
You know what conversation I would like to get into, but I don't know if you're willing to do it right now. Is the other day we were talking about Imperium member participation within the organization and payback and taxes, and remember that discussion, all that freaking craziness about, people just using Imperium as a shield and not actually contributing to the organization and stuff like that.
Well,
That's a
never
long
will be
conversation.
Contributing, hopefully,
Well-
this will be the tax everyone. So
I was about to say, yeah, just saying that you're using Imperium as a shield means that you're still paying tax. So you're contributing in a way.
Well, it's not so simple to just say that, because the people who do contribute are saying, well, what, you're just going to tax me like the rest of them? Even though all I do is help Imperium all day, every day. And then that's where the conversation really gets going, because you have to talk about incentivizing all that help. Well, why should people who are helping Imperium all the time get ripped the same as people who just sign in and do nothing and they just do whatever they want, versus actually helping the org. And I'm not super worried about it, because I think people understand that, all these orgs are like basically nothing. Test is nothing. Explore is nothing. ADI is nothing. Imperium is nothing. Until we have some sort of foothold in the verse. And until then, we're just like the one-man orgs that are out there. They're literally nothing.
Sure, and
So-
one thing to keep in mind is all organizations, regardless of size, but it especially applies to the larger organizations that are trying to make big plans, have exactly the same concern. And if they don't have the same concern, they're not looking at the big picture.
But here's the thing, right? I mean, we've been playing games for longer than, the last 4 years that we've been in Imperium. And a lot of different games all use flat tax rate systems. And whilst I understand the what about me, I contribute so I don't want to pay tax like in real life, because in real life I don't have to pay tax if I contribute to my government. That sort of attitude. It's again, like I said, nobody wants to pay taxes, but at the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you are contributing to the health of your organization and making sure that your organization continues to provide you with any benefits that you may or may not see from Imperium. If those costs outweigh the benefits, then it's not like in real life. It's very easy to move to a different organization, whereas in real life you'd have to move to a different country where you'd be subjected to almost the exact same fucking laws again. My point is, when it comes to incentivizing people that are active, there will always be opportunities and there will always be things. But there's only two things in Star Citizen that are certain: permadeath and taxes.
Permadeath and taxes.
I want to save this whole thing for another episode, because we could go until you have to go, Chantal, on this. It's a good one. And I would actually kind of maybe we can start a discussion about it on the forum. There's already a couple discussions about it. Shout out to Reaver, I think, had a really good post on it. But there are two sides. There are basically people who I'm gonna just use it. Fuck it. Like, people who are selfish and are looking out for their own prosperity, which is fine. Like, everyone wants to have enough money to do what they gotta do. But at the end of the day, having all that money really doesn't make any difference in what you experience in game. Because if the org has no money or can't support itself, then that's also an issue. So that's two sides of it. And there are people who would rather make sure that the org has enough strength to support itself, and there are people who are the opposite, who would rather, like, oh, well, the org can rely on me when I have a ton of money. And I personally put my trust in the org over another random player, whoever that might be. So there are two sides, and I'd probably like to see if we could get some discussion going on it before we do another episode. But
I've always said this: if every single individual member of Imperium is doing great and making more money, that only means more money for Imperium itself due to a flat tax rate. So I do wish.
Tax rate, yeah.
Well, there very likely is. I mean, that's the one thing where we can pretend like we're not going to implement a flat tax rate for the sake of this argument or this conversation, but it's very likely that there will be a flat tax rate.
It's very likely that any organization, not exclusive to Imperium, is going to want to tax their members' behaviors if they want to have some sort of financial stability in this game. Now, what we can benefit from those financial securities, that's a different question, and we'll have to see how some of those gameplay mechanics come out, like org-run bases or org-run stations or org-run fleets, or frickin' who knows what else can come of that. But credits is going to be a big deal.
Sure. And I mean, people have to consider questions like, am I willing to pay taxes to explore parts of the game? Because you're not going to join another org and pay zero tax. So what you're looking at is you're joining a large org to experience every facet of the game. That's what our goals are. That's what every large org's goals are. You're essentially paying, in a way, you're supporting the org so that it's capable of, multi-crew, capital ship combat, large-scale exploration, and friggin' enormous, trade supply missions and all that crap. And if the game is fun enough to you, you know, isn't the reason you're playing the game for fun. You have to consider that too. Like, is it not fun enough to do these things? Like, are you really worried about profiting? Like, are you looking at it like this is a chore? I should make sure that at least I'm getting paid for this, because that's also another part of it. Like, people aren't gonna be mining. Mining is gonna be tedious. Traveling, space trucking will be tedious. You know, in comparison to other facets of the game. Like, but the point is, it's supposed to be fun. You know, you're supposed to be playing the game for fun, and I don't know. There are so many different perspectives on this that we could go on forever.
Well, we had an interesting discussion about that the other day, about like the ideal participation of an Imperium member. And it wasn't that everything that you do all the time when you're logged in needs to be something that has to do with Imperium. And if it was, that would be fucking great, right? It would be really great. But that's not, honestly, not the expectation, at least per our conversation that we had. No one, I don't think, in Imperium leadership is expecting their members to log on at 8 a.m. and play until 8 p.m. on a Saturday and just do something that has been disseminated through the structure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people want their own personal time as well, and so. Well, that's why tools like the portal are so important. And I mean, for people who aren't aware, the portal will have a mission system. You'll be able to go through there and see what Imperium needs. Given your rank and status in the org, you may see more available options than others. But it's basically a place that we can try and keep our own personal mission board based on what's necessary, and it's all monitored and taken care of by the ops division. So if you need help with a mission that you're working on, you can always contact ops for support. And it's I mean, that's a major tool that we're going to use to, you know, get information into the hands of Imperium members who might otherwise be really hard to find out exactly what Imperium needs at the moment. And we'll obviously want to incentivize the use of that system, so we have to find a way to do that. But
there is a way to do that. That is by using the money we collect with taxes to actually pay same price or even above fair price for the actual compensation of those missions. Like, say we need 1 million fucking rocks, and we put a mission on the portal for it. Then we know what the cost of those rocks is, and we pay out the sum required for those rocks to the people who've actually done it. Yet, if at the same time, when charging flat tax, you can do something like that. Whereas if we don't charge flat tax and we just expect people to collect 1 million fucking rocks for us, I don't think we're using our system right.
Yeah, so as you can see, if you're listening right now, this hasn't been discussed a lot.
It's been a taboo subject for frickin' a while now because people hear the word taxes and they freak out.
That's wrong, because most people should have played other games before, namely other MMORPGs. The thing is, I think that what a lot of people are running into is that people who haven't played MMORPGs and have not been part of faction systems before don't realize that flat tax rates are extremely common. Half the time, they don't notice that they're not getting an extra 10% credits or money or whatever, but it is going to their organization as it's happening. They just don't realize it. But the people who are coming into this from non-MMORPG games, they think of taxes as a taboo subject, and that's why the problem is coming up. I've never, ever seen this problem come up as heavily in this game as I have in other MMORPGs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's like, we can talk even about flat tax, but we'll see what they even allow us to do, right? It really depends on whoever's designing these mechanics and if they give us more than one option, right?
I'll give you a $10 gift card if they don't give us a flat tax.
Sure, that'd be like literally the first thing that they would implement, right? But if they implement other things, we would still due diligence and see which works the best for us, right? So
Of course,
It's
we will pick the
something-
option that
yeah.
works best for us, but I don't
And that's,
want.
and that's a reason that I'm so hesitant to say this is what we're going to do.
Oh, we don't
before
know
we
exactly
know
what
we
we're
can
going to do.
Yeah.
That's obvious, but the discussion has to be had so that all the cards are on the table so that
I think
when
the
a
discussion
system is
mostly-
implemented.
Well, isn't the discussion mostly the mindset of everyone
Yes.
going into this? I think that's
Yes.
more important than what we actually do. Like, we can say a bunch of things. We want people to be working tirelessly for Imperium. I will be working tirelessly for Imperium. That is what I would like. Do I realize that that's not, like, feasible or sustainable? Sure. I understand that people don't want to, like you said, get up at 8 a.m. and play till 8 p.m. and literally just harvest rocks or scan jump points and then come back and not get paid. Do I want people to be compensated and appreciated for the work that they do? 100%. So how will we do that? I don't know, but that's our goal. So I just think it's important maybe just more so talk about the mindset going into it rather than the way in which it will be achieved, because we don't really know.
There's a very good possibility that it will play out exactly like Cora's laying it out. There will be members that are in Imperium that are running missions on a mission board at the job well or what have you. They're doing this, they're making credits. We're taking 10%, we're taking 20%, we're taking something off the top. And that directly goes back into the members that are doing the tedious task of, we need a base, we need 1,000 pounds of frickin' iron, or whatever I suppose it would be kilograms since it's a metric system in Star Citizen, and they're going to need to get paid. So, like you said before, any member of Imperium that's doing something in the game benefits the org in some way. If you had everybody just doing Imperium org missions, how do you tax that? You can't tax that.
Well, yeah, exactly. But there is ways to track who is doing Imperium missions and who is not.
Oh, absolutely.
Very easily through the portal. So, I mean, it's an option we have there, right? We can see who's doing Imperium missions. How can we incentivize that? We have good data on who's taking the missions, who's going on those missions, who's completing missions as they are to be completed. So we have lots of data there to use. So
what I propose right now, though, is there has been speculation that there will be some sort of not like a stock market, but some sort of market trading event available to players where, like, I'll mention him by name. Trade Mogul says that he wants to sit in his penthouse in Terra on his Mobi-Glass and just trade commodities, buy and sell commodities. If that's a thing, I propose that people who play the market like that get taxed at a considerably higher rate, maybe like 57%.
sure, and I like what Pendrag just wrote. I mean, I don't see how this stuff is different from how running raids and other games is structured. You don't, like, pretty much. I don't know. I've been in a lot of different kind of groups that have raided, but most of the time, in some groups, you're expected to always bring your stuff, and then after a period of time, when the org would make enough money, there'd be guild banks, and you could, remove, potions and flasks and whatever as necessary. And it's kind of similar. I mean, people should be wanting to do this content. Like, if you don't want to do this content, maybe you're playing the wrong game.
No, and I'm sure they will. When I was in raiding guilds in World of Warcraft, it was no different. There were people who freaking farmed herbs and shit and made potions just for raids, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and I mean, early days, like, straight up first raid, everyone bring your own crap. Second raid, maybe you still had to bring your own crap. Third raid, everything was kind of done out of the guild bank. You had repairs that were paid for by the guild and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm obviously talking about WoW. But, like, the same goes for Imperium. I mean, early days, guess what? Just like every other org, Imperium will be literally nothing. We will have no base. We will have no assets. We won't be able to, like, all we can do is clump up into a giant death swarm and go to somewhere and try and put a base down. That's, like, all we will have in terms of resources is the small amount of resources that come with our pioneers right now. Those are the only ships that come with resources. So we can go with a bunch of pioneers and set a low base count, and we'll see what other stuff comes out before launch. But just like every other org, we will be insignificant and nothing, and we will just have to go out and start, right? And that requires commitment from everyone in the org to grow Imperium, to make sure that it has an advantage over other large orgs, right? That's pretty simple. And then after that, it's the org's turn to give back, and it should be a symbiotic relationship there. So.
XLB, we're going to leave that on you, young man. He said he wants more combat pilots under his wing, and we need those who wish to fall under the tutelage of the wise and mighty XLB to reach out to him and get trained on how to fight. You know, we were having that conversation yesterday, I think, where people were like, one person in particular was like, you're not going to need to know how to be a combat pilot. And I think that's a mistake. At least to a certain extent, you're going to need to know the frickin' basics, because you're not just going to fly through this space carefree. Chris Roberts has always stated it. You know, you'll get jumped by other players. You'll get jumped by pirates. You'll get jumped by something. If you're not prepared for that, you know, is it going to be competitive, whatever you want to call it, like Major League Gaming type crap? I highly doubt it, but still. Also wants to take over non-controlled UEE null sec space for us. Yes, absolutely. Everybody's just reading. You see anything interesting on the internet?
Yeah, no, I'm just posting the last spam in the SCB Discord saying, if you want a chance to win, come to the stream and type Imperium.
I say the hell with those guys.
No, I mean, yeah, it's a big broad subject. I mean,
it's a difficult subject because we don't understand how it's going to work.
Which is why it's
like Corsair, we can roughly assume that there'll be a flat tax. There are other challenges with a flat tax, so.
Look, the reason why I'm more resolute in the belief that there will be a flat tax is because when it comes right down to it, other MMORPGs have done the exact same thing. Same thing with other games that have raid systems. If you're contributing on a daily basis, we can talk about, you know, people pitching in and donating stones and, you know, that sort of stuff. And that's all great, but if you want to make that whole system work fluidly, you need a simple solution in order to make sure that it all works. Right now, for me, the most logical and simple solution is you add a flat tax and you compensate everyone doing missions for Imperium by simply paying them what they would have made if they had run that mission without Imperium. And in fact, you may even give them more on top of it. That way you continue incentivizing people to contribute to Imperium, and you're paying and rewarding them for it. To me, it seems like the most logical way forward, but that is because I don't know what the system's going to be. I just don't want to raise illusions that we're not going to be doing everything that we can to make sure that Imperium is as prolific as possible. And right now, this seems like the most logical option for us. If there are other options, if the mechanics are going to be different, if they're going to be very variable and very customizable, we will obviously be looking into those things. But as it is, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. There will be some way in which Imperium will take something from you, but hopefully you'll also get something back in return.
We're going to take your soul and grant you life.
Because unfortunately, for 5 people out of 100 that'll say, we'll dedicate our lives to Imperium, there will be 40 people that will say, oh yeah, we'll definitely do something for Imperium every day or every week. And then there will be another 50 that just do other stuff and are still in Imperium and are still enjoying the benefits of being in Imperium. And I'm not saying those are the numbers, but, you know, sometimes you get the feeling that those are the numbers, right? And when it comes to that, those 50% also need to contribute somehow. And right now, a flat tax is the only way to make that work. I said, I'm not 100% harking on a flat tax. If we can have a dynamic tax based on participation, sure, that works too. But I don't know what the mechanics are going to be.
I would assume it's going to be as basic as possible from CIG's perspective, because it's going to be complicated in the first place. So
maybe it'll be as complicated as Orgs 2.0.
Is that a thing
Which
yet?
will never happen.
No.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Orgs
Turbulent
2.0
is
dude,
amazing.
come on. Orgs 2.0 is absolutely a thing. It is all tied to Imperium.sc and the portal. And the Star Citizen Base forums. Because not me particularly, but the organization and its amazing tech team have built Orgs 2.0 for themselves.
That's true.
So,
on a side note, we are upping our. We recently came out with Imperium.sc, and we are currently working on streamlining a couple of our processes in terms of HR, in terms of recruitment, and other things. So, for those of you already in Imperium, you're not going to notice a hell of a lot from that, but we're always trying to make sure that we build shit out.
Oh, and with that, because we're going to get out of here in a few minutes, we're going to try to close by within the next 14 minutes. Obviously, if you're here, you care a little bit, or you're just spying and trying to pass information on to some other organization, which is fine.
Got us.
Oh no,
yeah,
got us.
I know, right?
Shit.
Oh, man.
But
we're wrecked.
Damn,
What, you didn't put a password on the screen?
I
We
know,
just
right?
lost the metagame,
So
guys.
no, well, my point is that, you know, every Imperium member is important to Imperium. We've had this discussion before, and probably at this point in time, the most important aspect that the members play in Imperium is growing this organization, because we've had a certain set of policies in place that are being looked at again, because we absolutely need to grow this organization. So it's with that,
What he's saying is, recruit your grandmother.
well, my point is that you are a representative over the organization, so represent it well.
Recruit more family members.
You know, give away some game packages or something to people. Do something. I don't know. Not everybody has the same means, but everybody is a representative of Imperium. So represent it well and go out there. Go in, unfortunately, I'm going to say it, go to Spectrum and promote your organization.
Go where?
Spectrum.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a terribly built app, and the only way to get your orc's name out there.
So
I did not just copy pasta. Don't worry.
yeah, right. That's so funny. So yeah, that's all. And obviously, with that, you know, this, we've said it several times, this channel is going to be growing. We're going to be doing different things. We're going to try to keep the Imperium base more informed with what the hell is going on in the org. Provide some probably low quality entertainment, but entertainment nonetheless. Get a chance to interact with the people in your community. If you find yourself with a desire to help the organization, get over on the forums and start hammering, Imperium officers or something to see what it is that you can contribute. You know, everybody can do something.
For a fun note, in case you were wondering whether or not you should watch the next Insider, my beard's coming off tomorrow, so let's see how fast I can grow it back.
You should save it till the stream.
It's
No,
no shave.
on
no,
stream.
It's no shave.
It takes too
November.
long.
You're not supposed to shave this month, Cor.
I know, I'm late, but I wanted to wait till the stream, so I'm going to December 4th.
But
No.
November.
I don't
4th.
adhere to your social conventions.
you do.
No, I don't.
All right, so let's just do this giveaway real quick. How do I do this now?
You type L, you control F, you type L, and when my name pops
here
up,
we go.
you gift it to me.
Hey! Chelsea, 1973.
Very nice. If that means what it means, you're 44 years old. Happy birthday. You just won.
This is what your life has been culminating to. A $10 gift card from Austria.
Yep, this is what you get for allowing us to waste 2 hours of your life today.
It totally wasn't a waste. There was good information disseminated in the stream. Don't downplay it.
You can buy so much UEC for $10. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Well, what you could
get
do...
so many different fish for your fish tank. It's going to be great.
Well, if this was 2014, you'd be able to buy 4 Mustangs with that.
Mm-hmm.
4 Mustang starter packages.
For $10?
The chicken's done.
Really?
Remember the fucking Radeon promotion
Oh,
shit?
that's right.
Dude, people were selling those things by the 400s for dollars. It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Imagine if you can actually sell those things in game for about 100K, then it was fucking ridiculously cheap.
You mean the
Dion's
Omega?
Yeah, the
Dion.
Omega.
Yeah, Dion, you're late to the thing. Yeah, I got mine for $3.
Yeah, exactly. People were selling them for fucking nothing. But that's because there were so many people who weren't who bought a card but didn't give a shit about the ship, so was selling them off.
Well, they didn't
They
give
were
a
just
shit
being
about
sold
Star
bulk.
Citizen in general. They were just buying the card, and it just came with the ship.
And then it didn't help that the that the website was hemorrhaging keys at one point as well. I think it hemorrhaged like 400,000 keys, and most of them were. That's why SIG originally shut down those keys on December 31st of 2014 or 2015. 2014.
Is that right? Because the keys weren't tied to an actual purchase?
No. Yeah, so the website got hacked. I'll call it. It got scripted to fuck, and it started hemorrhaging keys. So it pumped out about 400,000 legit keys that weren't tied to purchases, and that's how the Mustangs went from being a $30 purchase to being a $1.50.
Nice.
So
If
that's
it's
why
on
they
the
also
internet.
that's why they also invalidated those keys at the end of the year, because it was like 4 weeks till the end of the year. And they said, if you haven't used them by then, you can't use them anymore. Our citizen gossip from the past.
Yeah, a lot of shit has happened in the last 4 years.
Was some of the only shit we could consume ourselves with back then, so... It's still kind of the case now, but, you know.
Yeah, XLB, this is what we've been saying. Like, 3.0 is fun, and it'll be fun for a weekend or two, but at the same time, we need that new netcode to make the game multiplayerable.
I've always wanted to play a slideshow as a game. I've always wanted that. 3.0 is finally going to give me that.
I don't get it.
I don't know. When are we going to do another Q&A, Lakota?
December, late December.
Are you going to do it live, or are you going to puss out again?
We're going to do it the way that I feel is going to work the best.
Basically, that means, Jintao, if you're there, then it might be a stream, but if you're not there, then it will be on TS. That's what Lakota's saying.
Oh, okay.
Yes?
Let me just look at that face. Speaks volumes. Oh, you got some shit on your chin.
Is that to keep you from getting concussions when you get curb stomped?
When am I getting curb stomped? That's what
I
I
don't know.
need
I
to
just
know.
assume you get curb stomped a lot with that thing.
Is it because I annoy you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in the mood to just curb stomp Lakota.
Yeah.
I would never do that to Lakota.
Well, last night it was something totally different.
Yeah,
It
I
was
don't want
strange.
to talk about. I don't want to talk about what he was asking to do to me last night. Let's just say Dion would be jealous.
He would be
Talk-
jealous.
XLB is talking about the new netcode and new tech online, like mining and salvage. My wife, every time I bring up Star Citizen now, because she has the research ship or whatever, I forgot what it's called.
The Endeavor, yes.
Endeavor, yeah, with all the research things. Every time Star Citizen comes up or gets mentioned or anything, she's like, "Don't talk to me unless they've got something to say about researching. Otherwise, it's a piece of garbage." She's just interested in that aspect, but
Yeah, well, it'll be a couple
keep
years.
telling her, "I don't know."
Yeah. Well, I still look like crap. Is that right? That's awesome. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you.
Linder
kind of like-
Farst. Apparently, Eden Star is moonlighting the stream right now, so we can give her some. Oh, is she not? I thought she was.
Moonlighting? The fuck is that?
She's
Hosting?
She's streaming. While we're streaming. I'm just. Anyway.
Ostia.
She's on Relay right now.
Oh.
So, before we leave, we could always link that. Go over there and spam Imperium or something.
Yeah.
In the
yeah,
relay Twitch? Hell yeah.
I
Yeah.
recommend it.
Here's a link to that chat. Or to that stream. Where you can catch Imperium member Eden Star.
Is it really that dark, Ryofar?
Yes.
Is it really that dark?
Yes. It's pretty
Oh
dark.
my god! Every time I'm getting poked on.
That's
TeamSpeak.
ridiculous. I go to the relay thing, right? And the first thing I see is two people with green screens, but no fucking things on it. And it's like, really? Come on, be slightly professional.
Well, that's why I put us on this side and them on that side.
Well, I don't. Either you have a green screen or not, but they're not using it. That's what I'm saying.
There's just a green cloth hanging there.
Don't make fun of Relay Core.
To make fun of whatever I want to make fun of.
So anyways, that about ties this up for today.
I think so.
But we've got like 4 minutes until the end of the hour.
Ah, it's fine.
Fuck it.
What?
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Next month, December, first Saturday every month, Imperium Insider right here. It should be stabilized, time zone changes and all that other bullshit. We do 1900 UTC on a regular basis. Today was 2 hours early because I got shit to do. So keep an eye on the forums. Follow. Wait. No, don't follow anything else besides the forums and Discord.
Follow our YouTube. What the hell?
Well, that
It's been a
too.
while.
But
But you can
And-
get the VODs there.
Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and no, I'm just
yeah, Google Plus is a thing.
MySpace. I think I made a MySpace.
Twitter's not a bad idea. Twitter's a good spot to find out if we're doing anything, streaming or any events.
We're gonna have a 3.0 game day in November. Okay, bad joke. Sorry. I got hurt feelings on that one.
Yeah, we need an outro.
I need to learn from Relum for an outro. I should write a script too and read from it every week. Oh, I like the awkward silence, honestly.
What do you want us to say? Just turn the thing off. See everybody.
Should
It's been
we
nice.
all
It's been a-
wave and,
It's
like-
been a slice, everyone. Goodbye.
It's a bit of slice.
Should we all
There you
like
go.
wave and say thanks to our parents and stuff?
No, I'm trying to get that extra couple minutes in to make it a 1500 end time for me. So I'm dragging out the inevitable, guys.
All right. Well, everyone press F to pay respects to Kilroy's SSD that won't be arriving anytime soon. So we can always use that.
Sucks. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah. All right. Fuck it. We're out of here. We'll see you in TeamSpeak or on the forums or here next month. Thank you very much. And I would say
Bye.
we'll see you in the verse, but that's fucking so cheesy.
We might one day, 20
We
years
might.
from now.
2 years.
20.
What did that just do? Yes, it did. That's what I wanted. Okay, bye.